Hello, I want to talk about the story Gramma Remembers, and just to summarize the story, it's about a grandma telling her grandson about how 9/11, what 9/11 was to her, and basically her story is that she was at school when it happened, and she felt this massive explosion, and then the teacher turned on the TV and showed them that the planes had crashed into the Twin Towers. And so they all left the school, and the grandma was tired. She didn't want to walk that far, and she was thirsty. And then a man overheard this and gave them some water, which she appreciated, but she actually would have preferred a Coke. And then later they saw the Twin Towers crashing down, and that's when she realized her parents would be dead. And to characterize the world that Polly, who's the grandson, lives in, it's 80 years after 9/11 happened, and basically everything just happens on computers. If you want to do anything, you do it on a computer, even go to school. And so it's a very futuristic world, I imagine. The cities are also way bigger, the Twin Towers. Would not have been very big in this 80 years later world. And the grandma also tells Polly that basically America just knows peace, the world is just at peace because they beat terrorism in a massive war. And so what's the message of the story? Basically it tries to bring attention to this tragic event, and it's also trying to say that even 80 years later, 80 years after 9/11 happened, it can be hard for people to talk about. For example, on page 8, line 70, it says, "Oh honey, grandma's sorry, she's just sad. Wait a minute. Okay, I think I'm okay now." And this is the story's way of showing us that even though it's been 80 years, the grandma is still very sad about the events, and it's hard for her to talk about. The text also makes out terrorism to be this evil in the world, in the way that there's been this war, and if America just beats terrorism in a war, then there'll be peace in the world. It says on page 9, line 78, that we engaged in a long war with the terrorists, a war that saw many people die, but eventually we were able to stop all of those who wanted to terrorize America and the world, and this is why we know peace today. So basically it wants to portray terrorism as basically the only thing that's stopping the world from knowing peace, and so it's trying to say that terrorism needs to be stopped.